your pants off, Quite People. It's time for the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show. Coming to you live from a secret dungeon studio in Port Chester, New York. Once again, Codeman.
Oh, good day, Franklies! Welcome to the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show, where we talk about all the things that happened on Quite Frankly this week. My name is Cody. Let's get right into it, shall we? Ooh, Frank was on fire this week. On Monday's episode, Barr preps the public, leftist teachers panic, and Flynn's letter, Frank got right down to the nitty-gritty.
Liberty is the absence of coercion. Marxism is nothing but coercion. You have to be coerced into everything, including using their vernacular. You have to use certain words. You have to stop using other words. You have to admit your privilege when you have none. I mean, it's all coercion. They don't get this because all they see is the overflowing cornucopia of utopia at the end of this. A chicken in every pot. Everybody goes to college. And this is why they stay in for as long as they can, and they hope that one day they can retire and go away. But what they've really done is they've given the country to people who are going to destroy it for their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. If they're even breeding at that point anymore, because they've convinced themselves not to have children or families for the sake of the fucking environment.
Everyone knows that children cause global warming. Why else would they call it a nuclear family? On Tuesday's Get Mo Muscles Up and Mother Jones Buries Bones, Frank shared his thoughts on that hot new vice presidential pick.
I don't know. Harris was one of the first to drop out.
So here's the deal, guys. My campaign for president simply does not have the financial resources to continue.
In December, because she had no money and she had no enthusiasm, nobody cared. So, of course, Barack Obama would say that Biden nailed it with this pick. If you think that this is a good thing and you're actually on that side of the aisle, I mean, I guess you got to get excited for something because your entire your paradigm is crumbling before you. But the chronology of all this stuff actually makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that she was the pick because something inspired her to have her face redone by a NASCAR pit crew.
Oh, wow.
I mean, something made her go out and just spend I don't know how much money to have her entire face overhauled. She came out looking like Jack Napier. But I guess the internal polling over there at the DNC said that Democrats prefer a vice president to look like a vampire bat.
I have a rather urgent appointment elsewhere.
What's that? I think Kamala Harris got in here. Oh man, that thing's creepy. Frank reacted to this clip of a BLM activist in Chicago on Wednesday's episode, The Real America and the Morality Vaccine.
So take a listen to this and try not to go crazy.
If somebody decides to loot a Gucci or a Macy's or a Nike, because that makes sure that person eats. That makes sure that person has clothes. That's reparations. Anything they want to take it, because these businesses have insurance. They're going to get their money back. My people aren't getting anything.
And to have this idiot say, they have insurance, we need to eat. What are you, eating televisions? What's the nutritional value of a diamond necklace from Zales? What is it? Or are you saying that you're going to go resell these things on the street? You dirty little capitalist, you. 100% markup. See, I've seen several restaurants looted and burned recently. I did not see one person stop to cook themselves a pizza. I did not see one person stop, turn on the ovens, and cook themselves a pizza because they were hungry. People eating Sneakers right now in Chicago to survive like it's winter at Valley Forge. Yeah, all right. Bullshit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the left. This has nothing to do with civil rights. I'll say it over and over again. This has nothing to do with the skin color of the person that was just spouting that bullshit. And this is just the left. This is violence. This is coercion. This is force.
Frank was joined by Rob on Thursdays, checking the hot sheets on a Thursday night. They had a great discussion. Is customer service dead?
Customer service is dead. The pride in any kind of a job that you have is dead. Interaction, everybody, and I think it's just because mainly at least one huge factor is that we are generally becoming more and more antisocial. If we're going to go back to sports or anything like that, one of the greatest things of going out to the sports, to these stadiums, was to experience the personalities that were selling the food.
Exactly.
Somebody that can throw a bag of peanuts
absolutely
from 50 yards away with pinpoint precision,
right,
by throwing it behind their back.
Yeah.
Is just like, I mean, there was so much.
Peanuts. Who wants a peanut? You sir over there. All right. Catch. My goodness. Is it Friday already? Friday, Frank was joined by Chris Ann Hall. The episode, Biden's Mandate, Election Sabotage, and Barr Bears Down.
Well, it's knowing and understanding not always the same thing. And Frank, you've been doing this a long time. We've both been doing this a long time. You're not going to get this conversation short of some, miracle from God on mainstream media. You're not even going to hear this from Fox. So that's why it's so important for grassroots people, like the people who are here in this chat room. I'm looking, you've got over 1,700 people watching us live right now. I'm sure there's more because YouTube always brings the numbers down. They don't report everybody that's actually watching. And if every single person who's watching or who will watch in the future shares this, we have to share this. We've got to force this narrative. Because there actually is no way for the American people to get this unless we become the force of media. We don't have conservative media. We don't have liberal media. We have Republican media and we have Democrat media. And we are not going to hear constitutional truth from the Republican media or the Democrat media.
For more information, head on over to chrisannhall.com. And as you get into the school year, remember there's Liberty First University. Hey, you guys want to see some vintage Frankly? I dug way back in the archives and found this early appearance by one Chris Ann Hall. Let's take a look.
Then, because this is when we need to be angry, I think, and I'm angry way too much. Which is why I go live every night. I need to vent every night.
Aw, look at Frank. Wasn't he adorable? Speaking of adorable, have you been to the Discord lately? The interaction that Quite Frankly has with the fans is what makes the show so special. So check out the Discord. We got all kinds of great channels, including Pets Frankly. In fact, that's where we get our new segment, Pets of the Week. Oh, my heart is filled with love. That was Pets of the Week. And now we highlight when the fans call into the show. These are the best calls of the week.
Let's take some calls. Calls like that. Taking all of your calls. Calls like this just make me feel amazing.
Hit it!
All we're seeking is confirmation bias in our own views to the point at which we can't even have a conversation anymore. And yet, there's many of us who are just seeking that conversation and seeking forums to have it. So I just want to thank you for your show. I'm a longtime listener, first-time caller, and, it provides an opportunity for people to actually have a conversation where in so many places now we're just shut down.
Let's take a call and see how other people are doing. 517, you're on the air with Frank and Rob. What's on your mind?
What? Frank, this is Mark from Michigan.
Mark from Michigan, what's going on?
What? Hey,
There's never going to be a good time to get a diaper.
I can't hear you.
I'm worried about your generation.
I can't hear it.
I got 4 kids. 27 to 40.
I can't hear you.
And I had a friend over here a few days ago, and he's got 3 kids. Out of those 7 kids, I've been trying to Facebook a couple times, made a lot of enemies, and I'm really worried about your generation.
Well, I mean, it's I don't know.
King really touched on something when he talked about French Canadians the other night. So these next calls are about that.
Yeah.
Remember my little rant when I said we should have a war in Canada instead of Mexico?
Yeah.
Because Canadians were more of a problem?
Yeah.
All right. Right now, a lot of the illegal aliens that are in this country are South American and Mexican. That's true. All right? 20 years ago, it was Canadians.
Canada. I say about. Most North Americans say about.
The Mexicans, they're there, right? But they know they're not supposed to be there. So they mind their business, they do the work, they get the fuck out. The Canadians, they walk around with such an arrogant attitude, like they own the fucking joint.
Power-hungry Americans, I'll fix you.
John, what's up?
Are you willing to talk about King on Friday with his comments about French Canadians?
You could say whatever the hell you want, but I can't protect you from what he's going to say about you the next time he calls in.
No, okay. He described French Canadians the way most English Canadians say French Canadians.
Just stay calm, boys. French Canadians are a little odd.
Okay, so that was even validating for most English Canadians.
Give you a couple examples.
Okay.
So I'm in a restaurant in Vancouver eating lunch. Hamburger was really bad.
That is absolute dog shit.
The waiter comes in, says, "How's your hamburger?" I said, "It's the worst hamburger I've ever had. I'd like to send it back to the cook." So he does. He comes back, and he says, "Well, the cook's really upset. No one's ever complained and thinks you're an asshole." So I said, "The cook isn't from Quebec, is he?" And the waiter said, "Well, as a matter of fact, he is." And I said, "Well, I rest my case."
Wow.
Yeah.
French Canadians, man.
So that's why I was laughing, and I would imagine anyone dealing with Quebecers was laughing too.
What's going on, Dustin?
I figured why not call in and just piggyback on the earlier caller and about King with French Canadians. I have some insight on that too, Frank.
Okay.
There's no Canada like French Canada. It's the best Canada in the land.
You know, and what I do for work, I'm a commercial collector, and I call businesses all over. The French Canadians are the worst to deal with.
You a jigger man?
What'd you call me? They're very rude, very persnickety, very uppity.
You're goddamned ugly, Bob. I know, but...
Ugly Bob, your face looks like somebody tried to put out a forest fire with a screwdriver.
French Canadians are some of the worst people to deal with.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, I've learned over the last 2 shows, I've learned a hell of a lot.
And it's a Canada, it's a bullshit Canada. If you lived it for a day, you'd understand.
We really opened up a can of worms here, John. I really, I never knew. I just never knew. And King called in. He did his thing. You want to talk about the silent majority, the people that were probably waiting to speak up against the French Canadians. There's probably plenty.
Not exactly, kosher to complain about French Canadians, but to be honest, I can spot one a mile away, and that's basically what King was saying.
Okay.
We still won't stand for this.
Jamie, welcome to the show.
I'm calling from Montreal, and I just wanted to back up us good Canadians, French Canadians, and just wanted to put my input into the show.
Okay, so Jamie from Montreal. So you're French Canadian then, right?
Well, I used to be a native New Yorker, but yeah, I'm here since 20 years now.
Okay, well, you know that. Okay, King is trying to call into the show right now, so I can't protect you from what's about. I can't protect you from. I really cannot tell. I can't tell you what's about to happen right now, Jamie. Just know that I love you.
It's like a back and forth kind of thing.
Thank you. Then let's just cherish this moment that you and I just had together, and let's just remember the good times that we just had. Okay? King, what's up?
Hey, it's the king.
I can I respond to like Mr. English Canadian?
Yes, go ahead. Oh, you're talking about John the other night.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He's Canadian, and it doesn't matter what his name is. I got to clarify here, all right? And this is why we got to understand something about America first, all right? So listen, English guy from Canada, I don't differentiate between you. You are both Canadians, all right? Neither one of you is Americans, all right? Like the God Emperor said, all right? Clearly up and over your dumb Canadian head. Just like the God Emperor said, Mexico is sending their worst. My point was, you motherfuckers are sending your worst to try to destroy the greatest country ever. Or did you not get that?
Well, but wait.
Did you think I was going to go, oh, I'm a Canadian. I speak English, King.
No,
Ooh, I'm cool.
No, I have
no,
to.
You're not cool. You're a Canadian and just dick ride America like you motherfuckers always have.
Wait, I gotta interject now because this is the
well,
thing.
I'm not sorry. But go ahead.
You opened up a floodgate that I didn't expect to ever really have anybody other than you walk through. And other than you, I have gotten a few other people who consider themselves to be English Canadians. That means Canadians of English descent and not necessarily French Canadian that also have they have had problems with French Canadians. That there's a certain type of vibe that there
but
is.
I don't care what their problems are up there with them people.
But maybe
don't bring them problems down here.
But, okay.
We're Americans. We don't care about your problems up there.
All right.
That was my point.
Okay, I get you.
Am I wrong?
I don't know. I didn't even know.
American would say no.
I didn't even know.
Like the God Emperor said.
Hey.
Mexico, stop sending your problems up from the bottom. We're telling Canada, stop sending your problems up from the top. America first, baby. All right? You can take hockey back up there, too. We really don't care about it,
Actually,
right?
hockey...
A bunch of fruits on ice skates.
Hockey's
slapping
expanding.
around a thing with sticks. Yeah, that's real manly.
Hockey's expanding. Now. There's definitely a market.
Well, not down here. Get it out of here, too, yeah.
Mark
Not
Swan.
an American sport, Frankie. Not an American sport.
Mark Swan loves
Not
it.
an American sport.
Mark Swan loves it.
Well, yeah, that's not surprising.
Thank you for the call, King. It's good to hear from you.
All right, man.
All right, bye.
Oh, those were some great calls. Well, now it's time for my favorite part of the show where I get to take your calls. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, call in now. The phone lines are open. I want to know what you think of Frank. All right. The board's lighting up. I love it. Let's go to Donnie in D.C. You are on the air. What do you think of Frank?
I'll tell you about Frank. Frank came to my office. Excuse me. Frank came to my office, who's a dunce as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
What?
you know,
Came to
this
your
guy
office?
is a major
Frank?
loser. Frank came to my
Loser.
office.
I won't say he's a loser.
Asked me, first of all, he asked me for an airplane ride.
Done.
So I gave him an airplane
You gave
ride in a
gave
very
Frank
nice
an
airplane.
Oh, that's
then he
nice of
comes
you,
to my
Don.
office. All he did is keep saying, I want to come and see you. He comes to my office.
Yeah.
I told him, Frank, I have no interest. So this guy's a wise guy. Maybe he uses his little tiny power
Well,
in order to, I don't know.
I
but
wouldn't. I
He
don't know
came
about
up to
that.
my
Frank's,
office. I couldn't
nice.
keep him away. I mean, the guy kept calling, please, let me see it.
That doesn't sound like Frank at all.
Frank, I have no interest. It's not. So I told him no. I mean, the guy's a lightweight.
all right,
You know,
if that's how you feel.
I'm not a believer.
Okay.
But he was up in my office. I mean, the guy literally wouldn't stop. He kept calling. Finally, I agreed to see him. Yeah, I'm not a negative person.
I
mean,
didn't say you
how,
were.
how could it be so negative when I'm winning in all the polls? I'm winning in
know what to
all
tell
the
you about
states.
that.
I'm winning everywhere. So, you know, I mean, I think he's got his own agenda. But I don't know. I don't really care. The guy's a total dope.
I don't think he's a dope. You know what? I think this is getting a little personal, so the phone lines are closed. We don't need to take any more calls. Now it's time where we go back on last week's wrap-up show and we look at some of the best comments on Comments of the Week. All right, here's some great comments from last week's wrap-up show. Thumper7 says, so great. Thank you, Thumper. Fish Called Trump says, great week of shows. Haha. This next comment's from Desert Fairy Chick Rez says, hammer it home. Bang, bang, bang. Cut it out. Adore you, frankly. Haha. That is great. Talking about last week's hammering episode. Here's a good comment. Bonnie T says, could the Trump card be the reinstatement of the Smith-Mundt Act of 1948? Try forcing the fake news to be the real news. We the people want to know. Amen, Bonnie T. Carson Johnny says, love the wrap-up show. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't indeed? And Jeff Stewart Q17 steals the spotlight with Cody is a natural. I can easily see him in a box office comedy. Well, Jeff Stewart, you are the winner of this week's Comment of the Week. In addition to congratulations, you'll also get a copy of my smash hit, Sleepless in Seattle. The Washington Post called it a riot. Well, that about does it for me on this week's episode of the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show. Be sure to head on over to quitefrankly.tv. That is your one-stop shop for all things Quite Frankly. QuiteFrankly.tv is the place to be to catch the latest episode, the latest blog entry, links how to support the show on Patreon, PayPal, and Subscribestar. Click on forum to go to the Reddit page, or head over to the merch store and check out some of the new t-shirt designs. You are so good looking. Quite Frankly streams live weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern wherever you get your podcasts. So until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye!